Saludos, soy María del Carmen González desde el Castillo del Morro en el Viejo San Juan. Líder, activista y presidente del Centro Cultural Puertorriqueño en Chicago. Nacido en San Sebastián, Puerto Rico, José López Rivera se ha destacado por luchar incansablemente por los derechos y el bienestar de toda la comunidad de Humboldt Park en Chicago, Illinois. La doctora en leyes, Jan Sosler, recuerda cómo conoció a quien le llaman el cacique de nuestro pequeño pedazo de tierra, Puerto Rico Town.
It was in 1980. He came down to Southern Illinois, where I was a law professor. He was advocating for the release of the Puerto Rican political prisoner. And I just was immediately taken aback that this is a very special human being, and his commitment and his energy.
I was raised by an amazing woman who taught us to always think of others first and then you.
Had to support the family, lots of kids. She didn't know how to read and write, but she was a worker.
When we came to Chicago, we were treated like third-class citizens.
Really terrible educational discrimination against Puerto Ricans in Chicago.
We were excluded from everything.
Like garbage, you know, we don't need you, you have no potential for our society, we're just gonna pretend you're not here.
I lived that.
He understood from a very young age that education was primordial and that the view of U.S. people, of Puerto Ricans, was something that needed to be adjusted. Jose had this particular vision of understanding that the community was going to have to come together, fight for itself, make its own institutions, and thrive in that way.
We came together and we decided, why not create our own school?
Pedro Albizu Campos High School became a new home for kids who didn't have one. It was rescuing people 50 years later. A little scrappy alternative high school that started with $120 in the basement of a church is now a thriving institution and is celebrating its 50th anniversary.
We created a whole bunch of institutions that address our needs.
Puerto Rican Cultural Center, which is also celebrating decades and decades of its thriving and growing, has this motto, really, which is
live and help to live.
Not live and let live, which I think is a really important distinction.
It's not about your selfish reliance, it's about our collective self-reliance.
Live and help live.
When I live and help to live, then I have a responsibility with my fellow human being.
The vision that Jose has been able to project and create and grow and foment is really a community that works together to pull everybody up.
There are lots of obstacles. In the path, there's a lot of courses. And it's a continuum all the way to the infinite, because there's nothing finite. You make your path by walking. Caminante no hay camino, solo se hace el camino al andar.
There's work to be done. Our identity as Puerto Ricans in this city is important, and one of the ways that is maintained and grown and recognized is by plantando banderas. You have flags that say, here we are, and we are not going anywhere.
I see myself as a teacher and not as a force and not as a leader. The good teacher is one who does, but also one who is able to pass out and pass on the knowledge.
It's impossible to just sit by and be unaffected. It's impossible. His own excitement about learning, his excitement about embracing new people, being able to realize new possibilities for his community, it's very contagious in the healthiest way, in the way that will pave the way to freedom.
If we're driven by a purpose, and if we have this North Star, I think this is the way we are most effective as human beings.
He's just like everybody's big grandpa or big father. And that's how much love he has, and that's what I think inspires a lot of his work. I could only do that without crying.
Everything that I do is centered around Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans.